It's time for another episode of ECTEL Bytes, a production of the Eastern Caribbean Telecommunications Authority. I'm your host, Coretta Crooks-Charles, ECTEL's Communications and Media Relations Manager. Good afternoon. This is our 6th episode, so by now I'm hoping that you would have already seen our other shows. If not, no problem. Simply check them out. It's on our Facebook page, YouTube channel, or on Twitter, and I'll be sharing those handles with you at the end. So we are typically here on the 4th Wednesday of every month, but we had a minor hiccup last week. So do accept our apologies, and it's really good to be back with you this week. Just in case, however, it's your first time with us, I will tell you a bit about ECTEL before we dive in. ECTEL is the regulatory body for telecommunications in its 5 member states, namely the Commonwealth of Dominica, Grenada, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. ECTEL is made up of 3 components: a Council of Ministers, a Regional Directorate, and a National Telecommunications Regulatory Commission, the NTRC, in each member state. So today, we have a repeat guest, but of course, she's talking about something completely new. And she brought along some company as we get ready to decode the icode784 competition. Our special guest is Miss Rhea Lewis, the Consumer and Public Relations Manager at the NTRC in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and she'll be joined by Mr. Jason Alexis in a little while, one of the winners of the 2020 icode784 competition. Welcome again to ECTEL Bytes, Miss Lewis.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Coretta. It's lovely being here again for the second time. So I guess I will just hand it back over to you.
All right, so in the interest of time, we're going to jump right into it. So let's start off with you, Ms. Lewis. When did the icode competition begin, and what inspired the NTRC to launch it?
Well, the icode784 competition began in 2013. So this is actually going to be the 9th year that we're having the competition. It was one that was initiated by our director, Mr. Apollo Knight. He envisioned that the competition would provide opportunities to enhance the technological skills of our younger population, because they are the driving force behind the new competitive technological era.
I believe I muted myself when I was about to speak. You never get used to this Zoom thing. Okay, so Mr. Knights had the vision for this. Awesome. So I know you have quite a few benefits to the competition and objectives. You want to share a few of those with us?
Well, the main objective is to improve the efficiency of businesses, how they deliver their services to people in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and also increase their profits, which would lead to national development in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. That is the main objective of this competition on a whole.
Okay. So what format does it take? Who is eligible and how can they enter?
Okay, so we have 3 competitions. The 3 categories. The first category is the secondary idea category, which is open to secondary school students. If you have an idea that is in relation to a mobile app, then you can enter into this category. The second category is the secondary mobile app category. You also have to have an idea, but the difference with this one is that you must submit your a prototype of your mobile application in the final round. So once you advance to the finals, then you will need to submit a working prototype of your idea or your mobile app. And the third category is the open category, which is open to everybody in St. Vincent and the Grenadines who is under the age of 35 years of age. It's similar to the secondary mobile app category, where you would present your idea at the preliminary round, but once you advance to finals, then you must showcase your prototype of your mobile application. Those are the 3 categories that we have for the competition, and it's open to all nationals of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Okay, so what has been the feedback so far? Do you have a lot of people submitting their entries or registering?
Well, we have had in the past, well, because registration is not closed as yet, I cannot tell you how many total for this year, but for last year we saw about 86 persons registering for the competition. Of course, not everybody would have the guts to go forward, but this was the number of persons who showed the interest in registering for the competition last year, or the number of teams, I should say.
Okay, and oh, go ahead, Rhea.
Yeah, so it was 84 teams registered last year.
Wow, 84 teams. Do you find that you've had more entries coming from the students or those who have left school?
We tend to have more entries from the students, I believe, because, well, starting out, this competition is geared towards more a young generation. So we do tend to have more interest from students as opposed to the persons who enter the open category.
Okay, all right. And my last question before I jump to Mr. Alexis is, how has the pandemic impacted competition? Has it had any negative impacts on the competition, or is just business as usual with it?
Yes, I cannot say that this pandemic has not impacted anybody or anything in St. Vincent. We have to put measures in place in terms of the gathering of the students, because then you have X amount of persons congregated in one area. So we have to put measures in place for that. This year as well, we are seeing a lot more challenges than last year, even though COVID was in existence last year as well. Our cases have recently increased over the month of September. So that is going to permit some, well, it's going to present some challenges for us in terms of how we bring the competition to persons. We are looking at having the preliminary round judging via Zoom, just to combat the congregation of persons in one area as we normally would have it. Right now we are currently reviewing how we are going to make this competition be presented to persons in the best way possible, given the limitations that COVID-19 would present. So yes, it does majorly impact how we go about doing things with competition.
Okay, all right. Thanks, Ms. Lewis. I'm going to come back to you in a second. I'd just like to invite Mr. Jason Alexis now. He's not a student, but was part of the open category, which is open to persons under the age of 35. Welcome, Mr. Alexis.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me.
Yes, unfortunately, his webcam isn't working, but we are glad to hear his voice and he could respond to the questions accordingly. So why did you decide to enter last year, Mr. Alexis?
Well, I've been a part of the icode competition for the past 4 or 5 years. I can't recall exactly. Either mentoring teams for the St. Vincent Grammar School, or I entered the competition myself a couple of years back. So I decided to try again in the open category last year.
Okay, so what was your entry and how did you come up with it? Walk us through that process.
Okay, so my entry last year, well, my team's entry, sorry, last year was accoutrements, sealess short move. The idea behind it was that we had noticed that there was, well, shopping in town was often a time-consuming process, especially since there was a lack of proper storefronts for many shops. So the idea behind the application was to create kind of a virtual storefront, not necessarily to facilitate buying and selling, but to allow stores to advertise what they have for potential buyers. And that was the main idea behind the application, the entry.
I noticed you said team. How many of you were on that team?
Well, there was myself and a good friend of mine, Brendan Thomas. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to make it today.
Okay, all right. So what was the biggest lesson you learned from participating in the competition?
Well, I learned two very important things in the competition last year. The first is that technical difficulties can happen at the worst possible time. In our case, both when I was working on the prototype, both my laptop and my computer had died on me, and it was very stressful. But I also did learn that in St. Vincent, there are a lot of innovative and motivated mobile developers. And it kind of showed me that technology really isn't a field where um, you're restricted to locale. No matter where you are, you can learn and develop yourself. So it was quite an inspiration to see that.
Okay. But I noticed you said earlier, Mr. Alexis, that you entered a couple of years ago, but you decided to re-enter. You know, sometimes persons, when they enter something and they're not extremely successful, they may not try again. But you decided to do that. You know, why did you decide to enter again, you know, having not done well in the past?
Well, the thing about the icode competition is that it really facilitates different ideas. So even if my first idea wasn't successful, I can come again with a different idea and then try with that one. So yes, it might have been a bit disheartening the first time, but there was no reason for me not to try again.
Indeed. And you also said you've served as a mentor to other youngsters in the competition. Tell us about that.
I've been mentoring for the St. Vincent Grammar School for, I believe, 4 years, maybe 5. Once again, I can't recall. But it's been quite an experience. I think my second year, I started with a Form 1 and a Form 2 student. It was Jared Nichols and Stanislaus Gomes. And I have been working with Stanislaus Gomes from Form 2, Form 3, Form 4, and Form 5. And it's been good to see his growth as an individual. And he really put in a lot of work when it came to entering the icode competition. So it's been an experience working with them.
Okay. And so what advice would you give to young people to encourage them to participate? And for those who are still in school, what would you say to their parents to, you know, encourage them to have their children participate?
Well, I would say that the icode competition is a wonderful opportunity to share and develop your ideas for improving our island of St. Vincent, whether it be their school, their community, the workplace of the parent, or anywhere else that there might be a need that that person has an idea that they can fill. I would just encourage them to join, and who knows, their idea might actually become the next big thing here in St. Vincent.
Right, awesome. And just before I wrap up, just to point out, you know, what you said was extremely admirable. And I'm really hoping that, you know, if there are any young persons watching or listening to you, they would get the need to be more, how do I put it? To set their goals, and even though they might be disappointed, to keep at it. It may not happen when you think it would, but it doesn't mean it can't happen in a couple of years from now. So that was extremely important that you still decided to stick with it, and then you emerged victorious a few years, you know, after you initially entered. So congratulations, and thank you so much for making the time to talk with us and encouraging people to, in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, to enter the icode784 competition.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, so I'm going to jump back over to you now, Ms. Lewis. I realize that you're partnering with Toastmasters on this project. Tell us more about that. So you're thinking icode technology. Why do you need Toastmasters involved?
Okay, so well, one of the big things about the icode competition is harnessing or developing the skills of persons. So some of them might not have a strong presentation skills. So this is normally highlighted when we have the preliminary round judging. So you could pinpoint where your weaknesses are, and then work on them or work on strengthening your weaknesses in terms of your presentation for the finals, because the judges also look at how you present your mobile app. So Toastmasters, we normally partner with Toastmasters so that they could give the students and the participants a little bit of tips on how they should present, what to do, what not to do. You know, some people have a bit of nervous tics, you know, maybe like I am doing right now, saying all the time, things like that. So Toastmasters normally comes in there to assist the students with that. So it's basically their presentation skills.
Well, that's really admirable. Were they on board from the very beginning, or is it like this happened after the?
Yeah, they have been on board for most of the years that we had a competition going on.
Okay, because you are right, and it's really smart of the NTRC in St. Vincent to get them on board, because persons may have great ideas, but then, as you rightfully say, they're not the best at explaining the ideas. So this is really wise, so to speak, to also give them the tools just to practice public speaking. So kudos to you for that. So I'm curious, Ms. Lewis, what types of projects have you received over the years? I'd love to hear about some of them, how interesting they are.
Okay, so like Jason just mentioned, his app was, his team's app was about clothing, trying to give men specifically more options when it comes to clothing. We've also seen delivery service apps, so persons would have come up with an app to facilitate fast food deliveries or any type of restaurant in St. Vincent and Grenadines, basically. We've also seen career finder apps. I recall one person had an idea for an app where you could look at different available jobs within the country or within the region and apply on that app directly. Another team, some other teams came up with some apps to help with the medical service. Other teams came up with this similar app to like Craigslist. So if you need like a plumber, an accountant, like anything at all, any type of odd job you needed done, there was this app. The idea for the app would be that you would compile all of these services or different persons. You could like referrals on this one app, and then you could go there, you could hire them, you could see the background information on them, reviews, so that sort of thing. And people also created apps to assist the police in preventing crime or assisting them in solving crimes. So there is a wide variety of the type of apps that we have seen and the ideas that we have seen so far come forward in the competition.
Wow, those sound pretty exciting. And I'm wondering if you're going to see anything, to do with the pandemic or the unfortunate situation that St. Vincent experienced earlier this year with the volcano. I wonder if you might see anything like that. I know you can't tell me yet, but I'm hoping that at the end of it, you could come on with a few of the winners, so, for them to really go deeper into how they came about it and what it's intended to do.
Yeah, definitely, we can do that.
Okay. All right, so we're going to wrap up. Is there anything else exciting that's happening with the NTRC in St. Vincent that you'd like to share with us before we close, Rhea?
Yes, we are celebrating 20 years of service to the people in St. Vincent and Grenadines in November of this year. So the NTRC is going to be celebrating 20 years anniversary in November. Also, I just wanted to remind persons that we still have 2 programs that facilitate internet to persons who do not currently have. The first program we have is the Internet for Tablets. If one of your students or children has a tablet from the government, you can apply to get internet on that tablet for a period of 3 months, and it's absolutely free. We also subsidize internet where you can get fixed internet service once you qualify and meet all of criteria, you can get fixed internet service within your home for just $10 a month for a period of 2 years. So these are two programs that we have. You can apply at www.ntrc.pc.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for those, that bit of information. I forgot to ask you, in terms of the judges, who are the judges for the icode784 competition, Ms. Lewis?
Well, we have 9 judges, a panel of 9 judges. I can't give you all of the names now, but it's
the organizations.
We have persons from Invest SDG, tourism. We have a few entrepreneurs. We have persons from the Argyle International Airport as well. We have past participants also on the panel. So it's a bit of a mixture from different backgrounds, just to make things fair and level.
Okay, it sounds pretty intense. Okay, all right. Thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to add before I wrap up, Ms. Lewis? That's it?
I think we covered everything for this session.
Awesome. Thank you so very much for coming on again. And I really look forward to when the competition has ended and the winners who've emerged to just, pick their brains some more about what it is that they've come up with and how it can possibly be used to assist, the various issues happening in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So thank you, Ms. Lewis, and also thanks to, you're welcome, Mr. Jason Alexis. He was part of the team that won the open category for the icode784 competition last year. Oh, Rhea, I forgot to ask, if persons wanted to see some of the apps or the winning entries, where could they go?
We have a database. It's available to everybody. It's on our website. Once again, that is www.ntrc.pc. We have a database with all of the entries that we received so far, because one of the rules of the competition is that you cannot enter an idea or a mobile app that has been entered before or previously. So we have that on our website for everybody to view. And you can also message us on Facebook or Instagram at NTRC SVG. Just if you have any questions, we also have the live stream videos for the last year's competition on our YouTube page. That's NTRC SVG. So you can go back and look at that as well.
Okay, awesome. I'll see if I could share a few on our pages as well. Thank you so much again. Appreciate you guys. And if you have any questions, just put it in the comments, and Ms. Lewis or Mr. Alexis will circle back and reply accordingly. So if you haven't already done so, please follow us on ECTEL at ECTEL Authority on Instagram and Twitter, or at ECTEL on YouTube or Facebook. Help us to grow our platforms. And ECTEL Bytes is a production of the Eastern Caribbean Telecommunications Authority. We'll be live again on our Facebook page on the 4th Wednesday of every month from 2 p.m. So make sure you join us on October 27th for episode 7. I'm your host, Rhea Lewis, ECTEL's Communications and Media Relations Manager. Thanks so much for watching and listening, and do keep safe and take care. See you soon.